Hey guys, welcome to our last Ed Puzzle video on Greek civilization. So if we look at Greek civilization, so in this whole unit, we were talking about what made Greece really great. So Greece was this area that developed from multiple city-states, all that were very independent. Okay, and then we also said that they were united in culture. So we looked at mythology, and we looked at drama, and we looked at science and medicine, and all of these things that made Greece really great. Okay, so then at the end of this last video, we mentioned that while great, after that Peloponnesian War between Athens and Sparta, the city-states were really divided, and that led to Philip II coming down to take over city-state by city-state. We said that Philip II died. Alexander the Great really took over everything. Okay, so now with Alexander the Great taking over everything, we said that he passed away at age 32. So he's a ruler of the largest area in the world at this time. Okay, and now he passed away. All right, so we said that in Greece, Macedonia, and Persia, they decided to take all of this land, thinking this was the best idea, and divide it into 4 different kingdoms. Okay, so these 4 kingdoms all had their own rulers. We have 4 kings all uniting together to rule the largest area in the world. Okay, we said that all of them made certain laws, like everybody had to speak Greek. All cities had to look Greek. They spread Greek culture throughout all parts of their empire. Okay, so we're continuing on with how Greece, even though under a new ruler, really is still expanding at this time. So we have new cities like Alexandria that's going to support that library and that center for education, which replaced Athens. We said that writers really came about. We're still focusing on mythology. We had the rise of historians and medicine. Okay, so philosophy also grew during this time. So philosophers at this time were really consumed with this idea of what makes a good life. Okay, so how can people find a peace of mind in this troubled world? So 2 philosophers are really going to come about whose names are Epicurus and Zeno. Okay, so Epicurus is going to found this principle called Epicureanism, and if I was going to state, where I followed, I would say I'm an Epicureanist. Okay, so what he's going to do, he said that finding happiness is really the goal of life. Okay, and the way to be happy is to really avoid pain. So if you're happy, your life is going to go well. Okay, so if we look at how can you make your life happy, he stated to spend time with friends, to not be upset about all these different things in life, to live simply. So Epicureanism is really this focus on the positive, focus to be happy and so forth. And if you can focus on the positive, your life will be good. Okay, Zeno is going to think a little bit different. Okay, he's going to be a guy, a philosopher that develops an idea called Stoicism. Stoicism is where you believe that emotions, if you have lots of happy feelings and anger and so forth, that's all going to make you unhappy. Zeno believed that finding a way to avoid your emotions would make you happy. Okay, so he's going to say that you can become happy by reasoning. So you're not going to get super upset, you're not going to get super angry, nor are you going to be super happy. And if you can put your emotions in check and be really even and low-key, very stoic in nature, that's what's going to gain you happiness and positivity in your lifetime. Okay, so Stoics really believed in this sound thinking. So this is where we want to get to. We're going to plan out all of these things, figure out all our emotions, and we're going to get there. Okay, they decided that people that live by their emotions about happiness and sadness didn't get anywhere in their life. Okay, a lot of the Stoics are going to influence the Roman thinkers, who we'll talk about actually in our next unit. Science is also going to thrive during this time, so we're going to look at science and a lot of mathematicians. Okay, so if we look at science, they're going to really expand on their experiments, their observations, scientific method. We're going to notice that people like Aristarchus, he's going to figure out that the sun is really the center of the universe, not the earth. Okay, because most people believe that everything's revolved around the earth at this time. He, with his observations, is going to prove this wrong. Okay, Aristophanes, he's going to identify that the earth was it was round, not flat. Okay, we talked about this before throughout this ancient time. People believe that if you sailed long enough that you would eventually like tail off the end of the world. We don't know where that water went. Okay, but he's going to identify that the earth was round. He measured the earth's circumference, the distance around the earth, and so forth. Okay, so he's going to use a lot of measurements of the sun in order to figure this out, because remember, a lot of their tools were very primitive at this time in the science world. If we look at math, math again is going to continue to expand. Eleuthid, he's going to advance the field of math in an area called geometry. So if we're looking at geometry, there's plane geometry and solid geometry. So how does this angle and this angle connect to one another? Okay, we still use his formulas of plane geometry today. Archimedes, he's going to be the math guy that identified the value of pi. Again, we identify pi today, the 3.14. The symbol for pi is a Greek symbol that we see there on our screen. So a lot of the things that happen in ancient Greece are so important because we still use all of that research in our everyday life. Archimedes actually was also well known for the idea that you're seeing there in the picture, which is the catapult. So he's the guy that actually invented that. So you could launch rocks or spears or things that were on fire and so forth. So Archimedes was a guy that lived during this time period. Not only did he identify pi, but also many inventions that we use. Okay, Archimedes was actually killed in a battle against the Romans during this time. So not only was he a scientist, he also fought for Greece. Okay, so if we look at this time frame, we know that those four kingdoms are going to rule this huge area. The problems with the four kingdoms was that they was very similar to Greece itself. They weren't united. Okay, so one kingdom's going to get a little greedy and they're going to try to take out another. Okay, this kingdom is going to try to take out another. So now we have a lot of fighting. And we said when you have fighting and when you're so big, the one thing that we're not looking at are those borders. Okay, so the enemy that they're going to find is going to be Rome. So if we think about our map, and we have Greece and Macedonia, and then we have Persia off to the left. Okay, Rome is going to be in the area of Italy. Okay, and Italy and this idea of Rome is going to grow. And Rome is going to be watching all the problems happening in this empire. And they're going to say, this is our opportunity. Okay, so Greece knows that they should fear Rome. Okay, the leaders of these kingdoms know they should fear Rome, which they did. But the problem was, since they were so divided, they could not get it together in order to fight off Rome. So eventually, Rome is going to gain control of all of Greece, plus Macedonia, plus Persia, to have the largest empire that the world has ever seen up until this time. And we're going to stop here for today, and we'll continue on with Rome in our next unit.